Hey guys, it's Stacey from Passion Progress. Today I want to tell you about the 5 awesome things to do with kids in Seattle. So the very first thing I want to tell you about is the gum wall. You've probably heard about this gum wall. It's quite famous. It's all over Instagram. But anyway, the gum wall, it's basically what it sounds like. When you first get to Pike Place, you kind of walk down this ramp and the gum wall's to the left. I don't remember the name of the street, but you'll find it. This was the one thing my kids really wanted to see. I think one of their teachers mentioned to them about the gum wall, so they were talking about it for days before we went to Seattle. Once we got there, my kids were really excited because the Lowe's Hotel 1000, where we stayed, they provided us some blow pops. And so I let the kids take a blow pop with them to the gum wall. After we enjoyed our little suckers, we basically decided where we were gonna put our gum. Ironically, my kids chickened out and I was the only one that put gum on the wall. I don't really know why they chose not to put gum on the wall. I think it was just the sheer volume of gum and the fact that it is kind of nasty. But I found a spot. I found an empty spot on the wall where I put my gum, and I thought it was a fun experience for sure. Definitely something kids will like to see. Side note, I've heard you do not want to check out the gum wall in summer because it is really gross. We were there in December, so it was perfect because it was cool enough temperatures that the gum wasn't drippy or melty or anything like that. So the second place you should definitely go to with your kids is Pikes Place Market. So this is the place you've probably heard of before where the men are throwing the giant fish. So it's mostly a seafood market, but there's also a ton of other shops and options for food and souvenirs. When you're done with Pikes Place, you can head over to the very first original Starbucks store if you're so inclined. You can also head down the street to Le Panier, which is a French bakery where they have tons of yummy treats. I got my kids a couple things and they definitely loved them. So the third thing you definitely want to do if you bring your kids to Seattle is check out the Seattle Aquarium. The Seattle Aquarium is located right down just maybe a half a mile from Pikes Place. It's right along the water and they have so many amazing exhibits. There were lots of really cool fish and my kids had so much fun just running all over the aquarium. It's definitely super kid friendly, but yet still entertaining. When we first walked in, there was actually a diver in the giant tank. My kids thought it was so cool. My son actually did a little fist pump with the diver, which I thought was just pretty exciting. Overall, you should definitely check out the aquarium, especially if you're into fish, especially if your kids like that kind of natural environment. So the fourth thing you should totally do with your kids if you're in Seattle is check out the Great Wheel. It's a huge Ferris wheel right along the water, really close to the aquarium. Anyway, the Great Wheel is a lot of fun. My kids had a really great time because Ferris wheels are fun. They're perfect for kids. Plus, you get a really awesome view of the city. You get a 360 view of the whole area. So it's really cool. I definitely would suggest it. We even went up there on a rainy day and it wasn't really bad. It was still really, really cool. Lots of good views. The fifth thing you should absolutely do with your kids if you're in Seattle is to check out the Space Needle. I know it's a tourist attraction, but for good reason. It's really cool. The view up there is amazing. You have a 360 view of the city and of the ocean and the water. It's just a really beautiful view, and I mean, who doesn't like to take in a view like that? Plus, you can go down one level and there's a glass floor, and my kids loved it. They were somewhat scared, somewhat excited to be walking on a glass floor, but it was a really neat view for sure. So if you're in Seattle, you should definitely check out the Space Needle. It is a tourist attraction, but it's totally worth it. So those were the 5 things I wanted to tell you about that you should absolutely do in Seattle if you're there with your kids. But I have 2 extra bonus things you should definitely check out. So the first bonus I want to tell you about is the Chihuly Glass Garden. Chihuly Glass Garden is just a wonderland of beautifully blown glass in just exquisite shapes, mixed with plants. It was just so beautiful. It really isn't that kid-friendly, to be honest, but I dragged my kids along with me anyway because it was something that I really wanted to see, And I want them to start to learn to appreciate art. I think it's important. Overall, I loved the Chihuly Glass garden. It was beautiful, it was calming, it was somewhere that I personally would want to spend hours just kind of sitting amongst the beautiful art. My second bonus thing that you should absolutely do in Seattle is check out MOPOP. So this is a museum of pop culture, and it is really cool. I would say MOPOP isn't super kid friendly, but there are some exhibits that are specifically for kids. For example, while we were there was a Minecraft exhibit happening that my son was definitely into. But the thing I loved most about MOPOP was the fact that they had a Nirvana exhibit and a Prince exhibit. I liked both the band and the artist, and so that was really fun for me to get to hear music and just see memorabilia from their time. So those are my 5 tips for fun things to do with kids in Seattle, along with 2 bonus things that you as adults should definitely check out. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below, and I'm gonna link to my blog post so you can read all about the things that I just talked about in the video. Thanks so much for watching.